Being the hour of 7 o'clock, we'll open the Selectmen's Meeting of June 18th. We have only a couple of items on the agenda this evening. First on the agenda would be conditions for special pouring license for tricentennial celebration. Chief Hassett?
Good evening.
Good evening.
The last few weeks, Tercentennial Committee, myself, Sergeant Sad, Detective Brandon, DPW, a lot of people have met fire department. And one of the issues that has come up, and I have agreed upon, that the Legion is going to be pouring the alcohol at the event. It's going to be cordoned off right on Sigourney Street, right at the beginning of Main Street. It's not going to go into Main Street, and the reason being, if an emergency vehicle or anybody needs to get through, that's going to be difficult to do. So it's going to be cordoned off there with about a 4-foot fence to the end of the driveway at Sovereign Bank. So it's not a huge area, but one of the things we're going to have is an officer right there at the entrance exit. The alcohol is going to be confined to that area. There's going to be somebody there where the officer is checking the licenses, is right at the entrance exit. Nobody under 21 is going to be allowed in, and nobody can walk outside with alcohol outside that area. In the last few minutes, I've been able to speak with the Legion there, the personnel, Ms. Brunel, and they're in agreement with that. They had some thoughts on some things, but it's going to be confined to that area. And if it's very hot out, which it very well could be, from past experience, Founder's Day and so forth, I'm sure you remember, Mr. Sad, people are going to walk to different places anyways. But it's going to be that area which is going to be confined to. Other times with Founder's Day, there was people walking around with cups and so forth. That was, it was blocked off probably from the area of Webster 5 to the center of town. This will be confined to Sigourney Street. Regarding that, that would be my recommendation. There's been, like I said, with the 300, that's been discussions, and I believe agreed upon. That's the best way to do it.
I have some concerns about it, Chief, myself.
Sure.
I'm only speaking for myself, not the board. Having gone through this for many, many years with the Founder's Day, I know that it can become a problem. Not only with the serving, with people buying drinks and more than one drink, handing one over later on to an underage person.
Yes.
So you're going to have enough policing to watch that that doesn't happen.
Yes.
You have a very small, confined area. When we had Founder's Day, we had it right on Main Street. The two beer wagons were right on Main Street. And even then, we didn't have it cordoned off. And the amount of people wanting to get beer and wine was just phenomenal. And that small area that Judd designated, and mark my word, is not going to be sufficient.
That's a good
People
point.
are going to get upset because they can't get in with the crowd to get a drink. And if people have already been drinking, they get irritated. I think having it in a small area like that could cause more problems than you're going to be able to handle. That's my personal opinion.
And point taken, that's the concern. I think that is a concern, that there's going to be a backed up line and so forth. We're going to have an officer there, but you're right. I think that's definitely not going to be, okay, that's, this is problem solved, so forth and so on. I think that is a concern. There's no doubt about it. That I think that allows us to monitor things better, but does that mean that there's not going to be people getting frustrated and waiting in line? Because, one of the concerns also is if it gets so crowded in there, keep letting people in there. And that is the concern also about handing off alcohol, to mine, is we're going to let nobody in that's under 21. However, could things happen? Yes, they could. And, with that being said, one of the things is there's going to be several teams of officers of 2 people walking around, several teams. Sergeant Sad's done a great job putting things together the last many months, last year. I think Mr. Heyman can attest to that. They've had meetings and so forth. Is it foolproof? No, it isn't. But we will have people walking around, teams of two, myself included, and it's a concern. I'm not gonna say, oh, no, like, that'll work its way out. No, I don't. I think that may be a concern. I don't know if it's maybe to stretch the street out longer or something, or,
Is that a possibility where you could, obviously during the parade, you couldn't do it, but on Saturday and Sunday after the parade, extend the barrier out into Main Street to give more of an area?
the
Is that
concern
a
I have
possibility?
is if an emergency vehicle or something needed to get through, like, because that was gonna be fenced off. I know what you're saying, like, the Founder's Day, it was bear wagons.
Go ahead.
Why is it that you're stopping by the driveway of the bank? Why don't you go further back?
Because people live there. There's
Oh.
a family that lives there, and I'm not at liberty to say that they've okayed it.
Okay.
I'll look into it.
Good point.
I'm gonna look
Yeah.
into it, because would that help? Oh, yeah, it would absolutely help, without a doubt. The area that goes past the house, I think we know I'm referring to on
Right,
Signey.
that one house.
That was gonna be, just past there where the new pavement is and so forth, where the building was torn down. That was gonna be accessed, for the vendors and so forth, part of the plan for the vendors to park. They're gonna have special, tickets and so forth, tags to get in there. But, that was discussed today. We just went up there today, the sergeant and I, and DPW, and looked at that. Because it is a concern. It's not real big, and that was a concern. So maybe I can do that. I can,
As far as like people who are being allowed to drink, is there gonna be like wristbands or anything? Like when they,
Have a stamp.
a stamp?
Yes.
Because I mean, I would recommend wristbands because when you check in IDs, everybody gets a wristband. It's a lot easier for officers to see who's already been checked for ID, who has ID, and who's out,
That's something we
can
can-
drink. Because
Yeah.
as far as, like saying people handing drinks over the fence or something, and as somebody doesn't see a wristband, it's kind of easier to spot.
that's a good point.
And then as far as having, I know there's cops gonna be walking around, but as far as, like, event staff, could be checking for IDs and keeping it, if somebody's looking out for a cop, they might be like, trying to hide drinking from the police, but if they, if they're not caught off their guard by, somebody's not in uniform, who's also looking for underage drinking,
Good point.
might be a good idea.
We'll bring that back. That's a good point. Yeah, very good point. Yeah.
But they're supposed to consume that in that area. They're not supposed to be out of that area whatsoever.
Correct. Yeah, that's
So
correct.
anybody caught with anything outside of that area is going to be possibly cited or in some way. I don't know what you'll do. But,
Yeah,
It's up
that's
to you.
what's supposed to be confined to that area.
okay.
But it is, back to your point, that area isn't huge. And we looked at it today, like I said, and I will look into it further. Maybe something that we can do, and I will, make sure that, that the residents there are spoken with regarding that.
And the sale is going to be with tickets, is that correct?
Yes.
So they would have to go to a separate location in order to get the beer or wine tickets.
Correct.
There'd be a person checking the IDs right there, tip certified.
There'll be two people there, there'll be one checking IDs, the other one selling the tickets, so they'll have two people at all times.
There'll be an officer there.
Yep.
And
Okay,
they'll be all tip certified.
Good, good. Well, I don't know, does the board members have any other questions, concerns?
Well,
Go ahead.
like Dennis brought up, what would happen if you find somebody outside the wire, or would you give them a ticket?
Well, I think we can put a sign up first off and let it be known right away that it's, no drinking outside. It could be, open container or something to that effect. We have a bylaw or something.
We have a bylaw, so they can get pinched
We've
for
used
it.
it, we've used it before, and it is, I will say it's an arrestable offense,
Yes, it is.
so,
Or would you arrest them? That's,
sure, if need be, that's gonna be the officer's discretion, but yes, I mean, that could be the penalty. But I think that's a good point. We'll post that right there.
Yeah.
Chief, is that enclosed area large enough to have a size crowd that would require a crowd manager? As would be, I guess, I don't know if your occupancy is big enough for that, when you'd have to have a crowd manager now with a pouring license?
Well,
Most of our bartenders are crowd managed.
We're gonna have some police officers there.
Will that meet the requirements?
well, I will say this, I would put this out there, back to your point, Mr. Sad, about the area not being huge. At some point, if it's so crowded in there, and I would even maybe speak to Chief Bemis, even though I know they deal with in the buildings, but if it gets so crowded, then I think it's a call we have to make. That, we have to clear it out, that nobody, and that leads to the anger part, I know what you're getting at.
But I mean, that should be a judgment call by the police
Yeah,
department.
I would
You
agree,
know
yeah.
when the crowd becomes
Yep.
a
It's
threat.
gonna be too excessive, and, if it's to a point where it could become an issue or dangerous or something, absolutely. And that would have to be it, that nobody can enter. It would have to be, or even if it got too crowded, that would have to clear out a bit. And that's why I have a concern if it went out onto Main Street at all. I know, I remember Founder's Day, and it was people walking around and so forth, and where the beer carts were and so forth, and,
It's gonna be
I
tough.
do, my understanding is this is gonna be even bigger than that,
Oh,
much bigger than
it will
that.
be, believe me.
So,
I mean, we know what Founder's Day created.
Yeah.
and This is gonna be probably 5
Yeah,
times larger
yeah,
than the Founder's Day
I know the parade
events.
alone's gonna be huge, and so,
It is?
yeah, I got it, yeah, that's another issue, yeah.
Any other comments, concerns?
What time you closing on the street on Sunday?
What time is it closed down?
The parade starts
Starts
at noontime.
Noontime.
Noon to, and it ends at 7:30. Ellen, you can help me on that.
When's the street gonna be closed?
So,
Saturday, the streets will be closed at 9 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night. The pouring on both days stops 1 hour prior to closing, so it would stop at 10 o'clock at night on Saturday. On Sunday, we close at 7:30, so it would stop at 6:30 on Sunday. And everything that we've done has been with the DPW and the police and fire, to try to make sure everything is safe. Because we did ask about bringing the barriers out into the street, but because there's a concern about getting emergency vehicles through, we backed off, because that was something we thought would have been nice for Saturday night, if there's gonna be gassing in the streets and stuff, but because of the concerns about emergency apparatus, that takes precedence, safety takes precedence. All of our advertising also has stated that it will be confined, and the only ones that are going in there are 21 and over.
Chief?
The only thing is, Alan, my understanding, at 12 o'clock Saturday, the pouring starts for the
Yes,
alcohol.
the pouring
12
doesn't
Saturday,
start
not at
till
9 or anything.
Right,
So
okay.
it's 12 to 10, and then 12 to 6:30 Sunday.
Okay. Good. Chief, you have any concerns?
You've approved of the license. I think the remaining piece of work is to vote those conditions, and we could make reference to what the chief has said. Your clerk is nodding her head yes.
That would be part of the permit. Any other concerns? No?
So to be clear, the conditions are that no one under 21 is getting in that area. Drinking will be confined to that area. There'll be an officer on duty at the entrance. The people serving, selling the tickets, you'll have somebody to check IDs plus to sell the tickets. And it's just in that small area. Those are the
That is,
conditions.
and I will speak to the resident, see if there's something we can do, maybe make it a little bit longer.
Sure.
Yes.
So where is the tickets going to be sold as to where the alcohol is? Is it in the same area?
Yes, within walking distance.
Chief, are there any other safety concerns that we should be aware of?
Well, I think, and the town manager and I have spoken the last couple of weeks, in the next week or two, I believe, we're gonna get together, he's gonna put out a code red message, that we have, like, basically to reverse 911, that, with the traffic and so forth regarding the parade and, areas that are gonna be blocked off. I know there was concern on East Main Street, some of the residents that being able to get out and so forth. They're gonna be able to, it's not even gonna be, the blockade, the barricade on the, excuse me, on the north side is gonna be further up, so they're gonna be able to get out from that area. Now, when they need to park, if they're having guests and so forth, they're gonna have to park on their lawn and so forth, because if there's an emergency vehicle that needs to get through, just like the other side streets, like Front Street, or, you know, where people are looking to park, Elm, that's gonna be no parking, and it will be towed. Parking's at a premium, and there is gonna be a shuttle service.
What the chief's referring to, Mr. Chairman, is the letter that went out dated June 5th from the board.
Yes.
Advising residents of this. We got calls, primarily, I think there were 2 calls from folks on East Main Street, and we want to assure them that they will have access, because they said, well, what if I have a company? Well, you can have company. That's right. They have to park in your grass.
The only thing I would say, and respectfully to the citizens, is please be patient, because during the parade, all bets are off. Like, nobody's gonna be able to get out.
Right.
Once that goes, that's just gonna be, it is what it is, and after that's done, certainly, you know, we'll go back to normal operations, but that's gonna be the case during the parade.
In the past, Chief, when we've closed down, I don't know if I should address this probably to Alan. When we've had events like this in the past, both of the banks agreed not to be open that Saturday. Have they gone along with that, Alan, or they're gonna be open?
Well, I've tried to reach out to Auburn, and I keep missing the manager, but through their employees, I've been led to believe that they are gonna be open, but there'll be a skeleton crew. Across the street at Bank of America, I believe it is, they plan on having 3 employees because it's part of a national type of chain type bank, and they will not allow them to close. But they'll get in about 7:45 in the morning, and we just have to be able to either confirm that they'll be able to drive out of that lot around 12:15, or they'll park across the street. We just have to let them know what the conditions are gonna be there. They are allowing us to use that lot for the entertainment parking.
Okay, good.
The only thing I would say, we sent letters out to each of the branches, and Webster Five's been kind enough to let us use their lot for our vehicles. The police department, we're gonna have a command post that the sheriff's donating to us right on by Webster Five on Maple Road, Maple Street there. And yes, they're all gonna be open, all the banks, but it's gonna be foot traffic, and they're gonna have a skeleton crew also. So they've cooperated with us, and
Well, that's good.
That's great.
so.
And Sunday church?
I just want to point out for the first
Yep.
time, St. Roch's will not have Saturday mass. So there'll be no service Saturday afternoon at St. Roch's to accommodate the celebration.
I want to say good, but I'm not going to.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, you leave that alone.
They were very good about that, but
Yeah,
they did
they
say
were.
that any of the committee members or anyone that's going to be there all day working would be able to use those lots. For that purpose is to help free up some of the premium parking.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yes.
great.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, where's the shuttle from, so people know?
Yeah, and we'll put that out also, but Chafee School.
Chafee School.
And then Greenbrier.
Chafee and
Okay.
Greenbrier. Okay. And when will the reverse 911 go out?
The code red there,
Code red?
next week.
We could probably do a couple of messages. We're getting I want to get the words together.
We'll stagger it too, maybe
Yeah.
just, but we'll get a typed statement up that I'll get to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because sometimes you miss people in that when that
Absolutely.
cycle goes out,
It's
so
gonna
you
go
have
on
to
our
do it.
website. We have, there's 300 has a website, and we'll make sure we get messages out through that avenue also.
Good. Anything else? No? I guess we're all set. Alan, are you all set?
I had just wanted to say that if the board was thinking about the wristband idea, it's kind of redundant in a way, because they're not gonna be able to get out and go back in without having their ID checked all over again. So it'd just be adding an expense on to the vendor. They have to show their ID to buy any adult beverage, period. So we talked about the wristband idea, but where we have them corralled, it just didn't seem like it was a necessary item at the time, because it's corralled, they're in, they get served, and they come out. If they go back in again, they're gonna go through the whole process all over again. They're not like they're gonna buy 3 or 4 drinks at a time.
And those special cups that they have, excuse me,
Right.
those special cups they have will not be allowed to be taken out of that area.
It's just a
Correct.
standard cup, whatever
Oh.
cup that they're gonna have, it's not coming out of the area.
12-ounce Budweiser.
Yeah, but they'll have to get rid of it before they can leave the area.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, how many pouring stations will you have?
So just it's one, like a trailer,
Okay, it's one trailer,
it's one unit.
one brand of beer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chair.
Yes.
So how many tickets, can a person go in and buy like 10 tickets? And then if he goes out, he has to come back, or how many tickets will you allow a person to buy?
Well, the purchase of tickets,
No, it doesn't matter.
again, they can turn in one ticket at a time. They're not gonna be able, if they buy 10 tickets, that's gonna be great for these guys, especially if they close up and they didn't use them all. But seriously, they're only gonna be able to use one ticket at a time. They're not gonna be able to go buy one for me, one for you, one for your neighbor next to you. You're gonna get your own. You're not gonna be buying for anybody else unless they're right there with you.
Okay.
You're not gonna be handing them over to anybody else.
Just on the wristband idea too, the other thing is it keeps people moving in and out quicker because you're not checking, it's a small area, so you're confined to space. There's gonna be a lot of people, so now your line's growing as you're checking IDs twice or three times as people coming back in. When you have the wristband, it kind of keeps things flowing a little bit smoother.
If we're moving that fast, we're gonna have more trouble than we want.
There's a question here, yep.
Yeah, John, in regard to the wristband, if we do that, is a couple of items are gonna come up. One, it's cost prohibitive for us to do that, number one. Number two, we'd have to order hundreds, if not thousands of them. But we have our own stamps as post 58, you only gotta hit them once. And it doesn't cost us anything, and the pourers can see right away that they're already stamped, they've already been checked. That's what we did, when did we do that? Wasn't long ago.
Yeah.
But the wristbands would be, I don't even know if we can get that many that quick, to tell you the truth. But that's the way we had it planned with the post 58 stamp. And it's indelible ink, you're not gonna roll it on somebody's hand so that they can copy it.
Yeah. But I mean, Jason, your point is well taken. I mean, you can spot a wristband, you know, and if somebody's in there without a wristband, then there's a problem. It can be seen by staff, it can be seen by the police, but I also understand your point, you
The
know.
pourers will be checking them though, when they
Yep.
hand the beer over, they're gonna see the hand, so.
Yep. Yep. Any other discussion, concern? Okay, there being none. Alan, you're all set? Okay, thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
You need a vote?
Okay, vote of the board to accept the
Conditions?
conditions as presented.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Discussion? There being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 4 in the affirmative, 1 absent, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, John.
Good luck.
Small corral though,
Hope you got enough help.
gonna be a small corral,
I know,
too small.
I agree.
What are you gonna do?
If it's a hot day,
Boy.
they have plenty of water.
Okay, Mr. Manager, your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Town Manager's Report for June 18th. We have meeting minutes. Request the board vote to approve meeting minutes of June 4th, 2013. All members were present. Pleasure of the board.
Entertain a motion.
So moved?
Do we have a second? Been moved and seconded. Discussion? There being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 4 in the affirmative, 1 absent, motion carries.
As you know, we're trying to get some repairs done to the Cummins Road Bridge. Request the board vote to sign off on easement takings for the Cummins Road Bridge repairs. The documents in the to-be-signed folder. Pleasure of the board.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Does the motion have to be made?
Well, the motion I gave the clerk has, and I can't find my
I
copy.
have.
Oh, you have it?
Yep.
Simply makes reference to the town meeting vote.
Should we move it now, then?
Yeah.
Okay, I will place the motion on the floor. Move that the board adopt pursuant to the authority granted by the vote of the May 8th, 2013 annual town meeting under Article 19, an order prepared by town council and provided to the board taking by eminent domain such interest in land for the Cummins Road Improvement Project as are set forth therein for the purposes stated, and to award no damages for said taking. All the affected owners identified in Schedule A having waived damages. Pleasure of the board.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? There being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 4 in the affirmative, 1 absent, motion carries.
Thank you. Revocation of pool table licenses, Mardi Gras, formerly Centerfolds. The new owner of the premises, that's at 139 Southbridge Road, does not plan on having pool tables and would like the current automatic amusement device licenses for pool tables issued to Omega National Incorporated, DBA Mardi Gras Oxford, revoked. I suggest the board revoke the licenses. Pleasure of the board?
As requested, we will put a motion on to revoke the licenses.
So moved.
Second.
Second? Moved and seconded. Discussion? There being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 4 in the affirmative, 1 absent, motion carries.
There's a new tenant at 109 Main Street. It used to be Reggie's, the BP station. His name is Remy Ramadan, and he's seeking a Class 2 license. There is, however, an outstanding Class 2 license for the premises issued to Mansour Convenience Store, which needs to be revoked. I suggest that the board schedule a public hearing for the revocation of the outstanding license on July 23rd, 2013, at 7 p.m. Pleasure of the board?
I'll entertain a motion that we schedule the hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? There being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 4 in the affirmative, 1 absent, motion carries.
Resignation. The board's in receipt of correspondence from Lori Kelly, Town Clerk, that Teresa M. Laramie, Chairman of the Board of Registrars, has resigned effective June 6, 2013. Ms. Laramie served the town of Oxford as an election worker from 1964 to 1999 and has served in the capacity of a registrar since 1999. Most of those years as chairman.
I would entertain a motion that we send Mrs. Laramie a letter thanking her for many, many years of service as registrar of voters. She's been there ever since I could remember. It's going to feel different not having her there come election time.
So moved on that.
Have a
Yes.
motion?
Yes.
Second? Discussion? Being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 4 in the affirmative, 1 absent, motion carries.
As a result of that resignation, there's now a vacancy on the Board of Registrars with a term that would expire at the annual town election in 2015. Ms. Kelly is suggesting that Mr. Robert J. Shedd, who meets the qualifications, be appointed as a member of the Board of Registrars to fill a vacancy until the annual town election of 2015. Pleasure of the board.
I would entertain a motion to appoint.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion? There being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 4 in the affirmative, 1 absent, motion carries.
We have an invitation from the Worcester County Selectmen's Association. Board of Selectmen has received an invitation from them to join the association executive board. I'm sorry. I should read it verbatim. Invitation from the Worcester County Selectmen's Association Executive Board to join the board and attend its first official meeting on June 20th, 2013 at 6:30 p.m. in the Sturbridge Town Hall. Annual dues are $50 per town. Is there interest? Notify your clerk and we can make the arrangements. And finally, I have 2 reminders. The date of the special state election to fill a vacant Senate seat is Tuesday, June 25th. Polling hours, voting hours are 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And we have, just a reminder, we have a vicious dog complaint hearing on July 9th, 2013 at 7 PM. That ends my report for June 18th.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Selectmen's request,
I'm all set tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Bertheum,
I'm all set.
I'm all set.
Mr. Mahota? All set.
Thank you.
And I'm all set. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Yes.
Yes.